All right, here we go. Here we go. Post game live. Knicks make it interesting in the end. Knicks tank versus Cavs tank, if you will. Fall to the Cavs, 113 to 106. Behind the heroics of Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina, the young Knicks. But it was all for naught, man. So we're gonna get into it. I got my guy Jay Ellis, my guy JB from the Knicks Film School joining us. We're gonna give you our takeaways. We want to hear from you guys. Phone lines are not up yet, but the number 657-383-1509. Having a little technical difficulties with the phone, but we'll get that going. JB's also gonna go into the ISO Zoe contract situation. ISO Zoe's 45 days with the team on his two-way contract have expired, and we're gonna talk about what type of salary cap options we have in terms of signing ISO to a contract and what type of roster moves we're going to be looking at as well. So a lot to get into. We're going to get into it right now.
KnicksFanTV. Y'all watching KnicksFanTV.
All right, bro. Thanks, man.
Post game live. Wednesday night Knicks. CP from the KnicksFanTV. My man Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time Show. Special guest JB from the Knicks Film School. Fellas, how you guys feeling today, man?
Hey, we're doing all right, right?
Hey,
the young guys look good.
The young guys look good, man. We thought this was gonna be a sleeper. You know, Knicks get out to a 22-point deficit. Hadn't led until early. Well, hadn't led before early in the first quarter, and the Cavs, for some reason, I don't know why I thought this was going to be a light game for the Knicks. I thought this was going to be an easy game for the Knicks, man. But
I know why.
What happened, Jay Ellis? Tell me why, man.
I know why, because we come out here, we beating teams like the Celtics, we beating teams like the Bucks, and you figure, oh, the Cavs?
Facts.
That's a cakewalk, man. We could skip through roses and win this game.
Facts.
And then you look around and you're like, oh, this is a game for real.
Yep.
Dover comes in, and it's like a homecoming to him, so he's all extra hyped because it's his first game back with the Cavs, and he ends up shooting crazy threes. We were never able to guard my dude from the Lakers.
Clarkson.
Yeah, Clarkson.
Clarkson, yeah.
Clarkson killed us, man.
Yeah, and they steamrolled us. I mean, there were some good things, though. I liked what I saw from the young guys, so
yeah,
I'm taking solace that the young guys perform well. That's what I'm doing.
Factuals, man. JB, what about you? What did you take away? Speaking of the young guys, what did you take away from Kevin Knox and Frank's games tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's all we want, right? I mean, Everyone's happy when the young guys play good, and even the tanking fans are happy when the team still loses. You still don't want to see the way the game started. I mean, Knox, they put him in the starting lineup. I think we all can just look at the names in the starting lineup and realize the defense isn't going to be great, and it wasn't. But it doesn't mean, just because they're not all good defenders, it doesn't mean they have to come out, kind of not playing very hard or with a lot of energy. So that part you don't like. But, between Frank and Knox and even Dotson out there, doing his thing, I like that part of it at least.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good to see. It was good to see them rally, fight back. Kevin Knox finishes with 19 points, 7 rebounds. Another strong rebounding game from Kevin Knox. Tries to put the team on his back, puts us up 1 with about, I forgot how much time was left on the clock when Moutier found him for that dunk. Rodney Hood comes back and scores. About a minute, yeah. And then, Rodney Hood comes back and gets that easy shot over Frank. What did you guys think about the last, not the inbound, but the possession with Moutier? I thought we should have tried to run a play for Knox. He was the hot hand all night. JLs, what did you think about that possession when Moutier takes it and missed that final shot?
I didn't mind it, though, because I really didn't mind it because Moutier's had like a knack for hitting some big shots for us in those big wins. And
I just felt like he was cold tonight. Like I felt like Moutier didn't have it tonight.
I feel you, but right before he missed that, he hit a couple of shots in that same little spot that he got to where he missed the last one. So I don't hate it. I don't completely hate it. I understand what you're saying about the Knox thing, but I don't completely hate that call.
Yeah. JB, what about you on that play that Moutier ran?
I mean, I guess it's hard to think of that play without thinking of the last play where you say, and it's funny because Clyde has been off on this point, because I think he even said it tonight where he's like, you know, the Knicks coming out of a timeout, you can trust, you know, they're going to have a nice play. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the area that Fizdale has struggled the most, is getting these guys attention in a timeout. I think he's trying to design plays that aren't too complicated, but then it just isn't working. So, you know, I think part of it is he wants them to actually be able to execute on something, and that's easier when you have a simple action like they did, you know, with just letting Moutier go.
Yeah.
But then, you know, like you said, it's just maybe not an ideal shot that you get out of it. It just seems to me like, I understand you want to keep it simple, but you can do a little bit better than just almost nothing on those last two plays.
Yeah. I would say out of the timeouts, we all seen those double pin down screens a million times. So when the game gets tight, and you know those double pin downs don't work when the game gets tight because everybody knows it's coming. So you got to get away from that. And that out of bounds play, you just got to give it up to Dellavedova for guarding 5 men on the last inbound play. And you got to hope that, you know, Dotson actually comes back to the ball. Somebody comes back to the ball.
Yeah, Cannon, Dotson. Yeah, it was just listen, as a young team, to be even down by 22 points to this Cavs team, you know, it was young team mistakes, and late game execution just cost us down the stretch. You know, it was just a little too late. Too late. But Dellavedova, right, comes back to Cleveland and returns to Pitbull form, man. He got to thank LeBron for getting him that bag, man.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's like that second unit couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
It seemed like in that first half, it was just Dellavedova fever, and it was just like, whoa, what's happening here? It was like pull up after pull up after pull up.
Yeah.
I mean, 39 points in the first quarter. It's amazing that we were even in the game. You know what I mean?
True. True indeed, man. It was like a tale of two halves. You know, one of those tale of two halves, man.
Word. I am happy though. I am happy that it seems like Frank is starting to figure it out. I'm very happy about that. He had 13 shots tonight, which is kind of the area I want him. I want him in that 12 to 15 range, taking shots. He was aggressive. He got a couple of good passes, and he seemed like all the pressure in the world is off of him now. Like the jump shot looks a lot more natural. So kudos to Frank for having a nice little game today. And hopefully I'll be having the Frank haters at the altar like I had a week or two ago.
Yeah, Team Frank is on top tonight, and Team Moutier is back into the cave, man. He's back to being mud.
Yep.
He's back to being mud, man. But shout out everybody in the chat. Knicks Nation chat going off on the Nick of Time show, KnicksFanTV. Shout out Robert Parrish, Shabaka, Ayo Pal, Stephen Weeks. JL, so you got in your chats tonight?
Man, I had Chris Dada, Craig Williams, young somebody. Ace Bezel, he's YouTube hopping from site to site.
Yeah, shout out Ace Bez, man.
Big Shaq, Jets for Life, it was here early waiting for his post game. Shout out to those guys. What's good, man?
Yeah, man. Shout out everybody in the chat. I'm trying to get the phones working, having a little technical difficulties with the phones, but we will get that working. I don't know if Alex Collins is in the chat, but Alex or Dave should also be sending out the link to the Q&A. If you guys have Q&A for later on tonight, we'll get to it. And like I said, JB's going to get into the ISO Zoe contract situation in a little bit. Let's go to the box scores for tonight. Let me get my screen share on here. Fix this up. Quiet night for Vonleh. Vonleh was kind of quiet tonight. I don't know if he's got a wrist injury or what, but he seems to be wrapping some tape on his wrist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many minutes did he play? 24 minutes? Okay.
24 minutes for Vonleh tonight. Finished with 7 points, 5 boards. Who I guess your top 3 standouts, JLs?
My top 3, I'm still haven't fleshed it out in my mind who the top 3 is. There's been like good moments from a lot of different players today. I definitely, let's see, you usually start from the bottom to the top. So if we're going to the bottom to the top, all right, let's see. Who's scoring wise? You have Frank, Moutier, Sam, Enos, Knox. So I'm Moody. Yeah, but
it's tough tonight.
7 assists though. It's pretty damn good.
Moody still finished with 7 assists. Yeah,
bad shooting, but 7 assists.
I thought he was gonna shoot us out of that game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go Frank. I'm gonna go Frank number 3.
Okay.
Emotional back-to-back pick. Seemed like he's turning the corner finally. The aggressive took the max number to me was the shot attempts. 13 shot attempts. Shot decent percentage. 46%. 4 assists. I'll take Frank for the number 3. Number 2. I'm gonna go Knox number 2. Number 2. 19.7 rebounds. 46% from the field. The monster dunk at the end. I'm gonna go Enos number 1. I know it's a switch up.
Really? You going Enos number 1?
Yeah, I know. It's probably not gonna be the popular choice because but Enos to me, look tonight, I felt like his defense was pretty solid. And I think the coach saw it too, and that's why he actually left them in the game in the last moments. We usually will see it a Mitch or a Ronley, but I think Enos actually did his thing. I felt like he got the bad end of a lot of bad calls tonight.
Yeah.
He was moving his feet to me. So, and he had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and he abused Channing Frye. So.
Channing Frye, the former Knick.
Yeah,
he's still around. It's crazy.
I know, man. That's crazy, man. Channing, especially he had that heart defect, and he still bounced back. So, Ace Bezel says Canner sucked today. Julian's disagreeing with you, man. Julian's disagreeing with you.
It's all right.
JB, who are your standouts for today?
Yes, I mean, I guess the third would be Moutier because, I thought he had stretches in the game where, the things that Tisdale, I think, likes about him in terms of kind of pushing the pace and setting guys up, he was doing. And then Knox, I mean, I guess I'd say then Frank if we're going from bottom up.
Yeah.
The thing with Frank is like when he's hitting his shot, I don't know if it's just that this is what I'm noticing, but it feels like he's never like, all right, I'm going to go like back at a rim or, it's going to bounce around and go in. It's basically like he is like splashing the 3 or he's just completely missing it. And I felt like tonight, it was just like smooth. And then you saw that Cleveland, they were sagging off him, looking to help, whether it's the Knicks trying to drive and you kick it out and he's making those shots, which you like to see off the ball. Some of the other stuff where it's just basically running like a high screen for him. And then he kind of, he had some where he was getting to the rim, but he's still doing a lot of like, he'll kind of dribble in that middle space.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I don't really, obviously you want to see him make the shot, but that's not something that's going to jump out to me if he's doing well there or not. But then, with Knox, it's more, sort of what we saw in Summer League, I think in that Laker game where he just kind of turned it on another notch where he went, it was I think a 7-0 Knick run that cut the lead to 1 point. And he had the 3, the dunk, and he had a block on the perimeter all in that stretch. So, to me, that's why I'd put him kind of the top guy.
Yeah, and Knox is playing some pretty decent defense lately, man.
The 2 blocks from Knox was amazing, man.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he knew when to help. He like waited for his man's head to turn to help block the shot, recovered well. He seemed very, very alert, more alert than he usually did.
Yeah.
Good job by Knox.
Yeah. Absolutely. My 3, I think I'll go a little bit of the same. I mean, I think Moutier did as much to take us out of the game early as he did to get us back into the game.
Yep.
He was definitely mud early. He came out firing. He was like 2 for 7 in the first half. He came out shooting, not really passing that much. And but it still finished with 7 dimes, 8 rebounds. So not a bad turnaround. Second star, I would go with Frank. I would go with Frank. 6 of 13 from the field. You like that. 2 of 4 from 3-point land. Like Jeff was saying, Frank's shots, it's not Sexton shots. We'll say that because, man, I was taking a good look at Sexton just to see what he was about tonight. He was all right. But definitely you could see, his jumper needs a lot of work. His jumper needs a ton of work.
But Sexton's gonna be all right though.
Yeah. It'll be all right. Jet Life for Life says Frank got ripped 4 times. Yeah, I mean, listen, he did turn the ball over.
Yeah,
he definitely did. But I think you know, there were other areas offensively where I thought he looked all right. He still finished with 16 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 boards.
Yeah, man, I feel like Frank was trying some new stuff. Like I never really seen. I don't think Frank probes that much, which is why I think he got the ball ripped. He was doing that kind of thing what Moody was doing when he used his body to protect the ball and kind of probes in the middle.
Yeah.
And it got a little crowded in there. And, I mean, I don't mind it. He'll find that balance between probing and not turning the ball over if he keeps getting at it and keeps getting those touches. We'll see how long this lasts until Trier or Trey Burke come back.
Facts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then to see how, too, I mean, both games, he has scored in the second half, right? And they haven't been able to go to anyone else because they don't have anyone else. And the question is, okay, yeah, Frank survived these DNPs and he's getting the chance now, and he's proven that, you know, his shot is showing to be a little more confident. But, you know, if there was other guys that Fizz could go to, if Burke was healthy, would he have had the chance in the second half? So that's something I guess to kind of watch too, because it's not like he's come out Frank, right, in both of these games like gangbusters. It's taken him a little while to get into rhythm.
Yeah, now that's true. Like I said, it was tale of 2 halves for a lot of guys, including Frank. I mean, I think he ended up with 90% of his points came in that second half flurry.
Yeah, I don't know where I was saying it. I don't remember. Shows are starting to blend together. But I don't know if it was my show or the post game live show. Yeah. But Frank is not Dotson, man. Frank is like a slow burn. He needs to run up and down the court like 4 or 5 times until he actually gets warmed up. Dotson just come in after sitting on the ice.
And he's ready.
And he just turned up, even though he had a bad game today. But they work 2 completely different ways. So it just seems like Frank just needs minutes and rest.
Yeah, Dotson, he's just dripping energy. I mean, it could literally be they're losing by like 25 points.
Yeah.
And sometimes that would be when he would get his minutes, like last season. And he would come in, and it's like, this guy, you know, it's like he's been playing all night, and it's, you know, the final minute of a tie game. Like, he's just always ready. So I agree with that.
Facts. Shout out to Dotson, too. Me and the Entertainer, speaking of Dotson, me and the Entertainer were talking on Sunday night, and we were talking about the Courtney Lee trade.
No.
And, I mean, but do you think it's a realistic scenario? I mean, the fact that in order to get Lee off the books, you may have to put an asset together if they're really hard pressed to get Lee off the books and get that salary cap relief. Do you think they would entertain putting Dotson in a deal in a package deal if the team wanted him?
I don't know, man. Dotson is like a souped up Courtney Lee, dog. I don't know why he would trade Dot for him.
I wouldn't want to, man. But you know,
right. But just what is the price, right?
It's what's the price, because at this cost with Lee, you know, the 2 years on the deal at $25 million.
But I mean, the other side of that is like, let's say you were, you know, obviously Lee's going to go to a team that's trying to compete, right? That's trying to add a final piece. So that's usually a team that already is kind of pushing up, you know, near the cap, whatever. So this summer, if you're that team and you're trying to add a 3-and-D wing, which is, I guess, what we're broadly going to call Lee, right? I mean, to get him for 1 year, $12 million past this year, I think that's pretty the best you could hope for, right? So while you're saving the money on 2019 for the Knicks, I guess if you think of it that way for another team to say, hey, we're giving you a veteran piece that could be kind of that last piece that you need. Yeah. And you're only adding 1 extra year term, and it's not a ridiculous amount. I think it's different with Tim Hardaway Jr., even though they're different ages, because he's 2 more years because he's got that player option. So I don't know if they can talk teams into that. But again, you're going to have to take some salary back, and that's the trick. It's like, I think it's more about, I don't think it's a problem finding a team willing to take Lee's 2019 salary. I think it's that whole catch of what do the Knicks take back, right?
What do they take back?
Yeah. You know, how do you only take back expiring deals? Like that limits the players you can take back.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man. You just hope some team gets desperate enough. Like, I don't know. maybe you're looking at the Rockets and hey man, I don't know. Take this guy off our hands. I don't know. Don't you need shooting and defense?
Don't you need shooting? Don't you need Melo?
Yeah.
Shout out.
Reese is off the market. I don't know. Try something.
Shout out my guy Melo, man. He's back at Black Ops early, man. Chris Brickley's like, what are you doing here? It's tough, man. I hate to see him go out like that. All right, we got the phones open. Call us up, Dave. If you're out there watching, you can start to moderate. But yeah, the phones are up. So yeah, you guys can call us up 657-383-1509. Call us up with your takeaways on the game. If you have any other questions for JB, for J. Ellis, myself, hit us up, man. Let's see who's out there in the chat. Stay connected. What's going on? Stephen Weeks, JL says great podcast on Sunday.
Thanks, man.
Craig Williams, shout out Craig Williams. Smokestack, what's going on? Brandon Knight. What is Brandon Knight back yet? Somebody in the chat mentioned Brandon Knight. Is he playing now? I don't know.
He is? Did he?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I thought he had like an ACL. Maybe he had didn't he have an ACL injury earlier this year, or was that last year?
I thought he's injured. I don't know.
Yeah. CH says Brandon Knight and the #1 pick for Courtney Lee and Dotson. I don't know about that. JL said, nah, man.
Let me shout out to the Facebook.
Shout out everybody on Facebook.
Sean Jordan, Allen C. Bradley says, Mario Hezonja has played like garbage this season. A complete waste of our precious mid-level exception.
Yeah, Mario's not it, man. Above the rim, what's going on? All right, let's take the first phone call. The phone lines are up. Let's see, 914. Julian, start us off. Julian, what's going on, man?
What's up, fellas?
Wait, Julian. Since you're up in Westchester, did you happen to check Courtney Lee's debut with the Westchester Knicks last night? Were you supporting Courtney Lee?
I caught that.
I caught that. Hey, Julie was watching a public access television. Westchester Knicks.
All right. Anybody?
Hey, man, he showed some signs.
Yeah.
A little inefficient, but you just got to get back into a rhythm. Hopefully,
definitely.
We can get him up out of here.
Oh, hopefully.
But the thing with Lee that I love, just for staying on Lee for a second, is he's self-aware. He has self-awareness. He understands his problem, and he's gonna fix it in the G League. And if more of our guys were more like that and played for the team and didn't go one-on-one all the time and did the best thing for the team all the time, it would be great. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're right. But, I mean, I think Courtney Lee's situation it's a one-off situation. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to do that, Right. And I feel like with the young guys, with the rookies, I feel like there's a PR part of it where they don't want that. And, I feel like there's a PR part of it, man. I don't know what JB and JL, what do you guys think? I feel like if to put a Knox or even a Frank down in the G League, it's almost admitting that they're not at where they need to be. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely get that they could, I guess, have that concern, but they've shown that they're willing to have guys go down to Westchester in between games and play. And I think the fans are, aware enough to realize that that's all it is. So, it'd be one thing if you're sending a guy down there for a stretch of games, but they've had a couple stretches recently where they've had 2 days off in a row, so why not? But you're right.
Why not?
It's strange they've decided not to go that route.
Yeah. JL, jealous. What do you think about that? Sending guys to the G League.
I mean, so look, Dotson did it last year. He had games where he pretty much just went to the G League, took a train, came back and played the Knicks the next day or the same day. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, especially for Frank, I mean, at this point, we'll see what happens when Trier and Burt come back. With Knox, there's enough minutes for him to go around at that small forward, power forward position. With Frank, depending on who's playing and who's not, it can get murky. So I still wouldn't mind if the minutes aren't getting – if he's not getting minutes at the point guard position, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the G League, just getting some reps.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Julian, anything else, or are you good, man?
Oh yeah, I I got a lot of stuff.
He goes, I got a lot of stuff. All right, go ahead, man. We got to catch up, man. The phones were down for a little bit, so go ahead.
Yeah. So Frank tonight. By the way, I'm from now on. I'm coining this phrase. He is Frank Nutella, because he's the smoothest criminal this side of the.
Oh my god!
I don't think I've heard a lot of Frank ones. I don't think I've heard that one. So that's
Frank,
good.
Better than Frankie Smokes. They need to bury that under the garden, man.
I never got that.
That was terrible, man. Terrible.
I always see the cigarettes.
He's not that fast. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to put Smokes to that makes any sense with Frank. You know what I'm saying?
I like the Nilmatic though. The Nil.
Yeah, Nilmatic is cool. Nilmatic is cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, but Frank tonight again, solid scoring, efficient night, and I know the 4 turnovers and whatever, but that's just because he's not getting into the crowd dribble off the pick and roll. He needs to back into the guy that's coming off the help. Not coming off the help, coming off the screen, and make sure he doesn't get that like free little poke at the ball, and that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, he
so
dribbles too high.
Yeah.
Yep. He needs to put his butt down and get into the guy coming off the screen. And by the way, Kevin Knox tonight, he's cold blooded. Kevin Knox,
he's settling down. He's settling down, man. You gotta like that.
He's showing not only why he's a better pick, and why we shouldn't have picked MPJ draft night.
Yeah.
But he could. I don't want to go this early, but
do
I think
it.
Oh man, yeah. Wait.
The second best player in this draft class. Second best. Behind.
It's a lot of guys playing well, man. It's a lot of guys playing well, man. Ayton playing well. We'll see him. We got him coming.
Yeah.
He looked smooth tonight, man.
Ayton is like. Yeah, no. I told you, he's a Rolls Royce of an NBA player.
Yeah.
He's clean. Everything about him. And that dunk, he's like, when he gets older, when he gets some of those man bones in, he's gonna be such a problem.
Yeah, he is, man. He is. Appreciate the call, Julie. He definitely is. I just want to get to some more calls since people have been waiting. Let's go to Mike from Brooklyn. He wants to talk about Frank and Knox. Mike, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, guys? Love the show.
How you feeling, man? Thank you, man.
What's up? So I really liked the way Knox played tonight and everything. I thought I was a little disappointed he didn't touch the ball after that dunk. It seemed like the play when they were down 1, that Moody was trying to get fouled on for some reason, which he always does. He's just trying to go up with it.
Yeah, I would have rather have lost. I would have rather lost with Knox with the ball in his hands. I would have rather lost that way. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and it looked like that play was being kind of run for him because he was supposed. It was like he set a screen and then he flashed to the basket, but he didn't flash hard enough. That's a little problem with him sometimes. I don't think he flashes hard enough or cuts hard enough, but that will come with age, with confidence. He'll be able to put a little more motor into his cuts because, sometimes he looks a little lackadaisical, but I don't think that's a problem. He's 19 years old and he's so talented he could still take over a game in a few seconds like he did tonight, even without, putting all his heart in it. I hope he keeps his confidence keeps growing now and then become a norm for him. I just want you guys' opinion on that last play by Rodney Hood. I was surprised, Frank's a really great defender, and Hood never goes right. Like he can't lay it in with his right hand. He can't throw a floater up. He always goes. He does that same move. In the finals last year, watching for Utah for years, he dribbles to the middle of the paint with his right hand, hard right dribble, turns to his left, and goes up with the left hand. He can't go right. And I was surprised Frank gave him so much room. He cleared it up for him to spin like that.
Go ahead, JS.
It looked like Frank anticipated him turning back right because when he turned back right, like if you see when he turn back left, because when he starts going back right, it looked like Frank was trying to give it to him, and Frank was kind of right there when he spun right back left, and he was pretty much hand in hand with him, but he just made the shot.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. It's like he was right there, and he had to come across one screen. I mean, I wonder in that situation if you're right. I mean, you should have the scouting report and understand about it. But it's almost like Frank. He's coming around the screen. He's chasing him. It just almost seemed to me he's just playing. I'm just manning this guy up. And that's what he sort of did. But unfortunately, yeah, if you give a guy, actually, it's funny. Jimmy Butler was just talking about this on the last JJ Redick podcast, where he's just like, if I get to my spot, like, it's over. If you give a guy, you can actually be defending him pretty well, but if he gets to that spot in the court where he knows that's his shot, then even if you're right up on him, it doesn't really matter. And that's kind of what happened there.
It's muscle memory at that point.
Factuals. Appreciate the call, Mike.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Oh, you too, man.
You too.
All right, let's go to Ari from Manhattan. Same topics. Wants to talk about. He talks about Fizdale and Knox. Ari, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Hey, what's going on, CP and JLS? Thank you for having me. I don't know. As you guys know, I've been a very harsh critic of Frank Ntilikina. I don't think he's a point guard, and he's been playing terrible. But I must admit, and this is shout out to Big Shaq because we used to argue on the chat all the time. But
that is Julian. Julian is Big Shaq. That's his alias.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I like what I see from him, and it's not even just that his shot is dropping. He looks like a completely different person out there. He's attacking the defense. He's making decisions quicker. And you know what? I know a lot of people on the chat don't like Fizdale. I mean, we all know he's not the X's and O's guy, but I think he deserves a lot of credit for the way he's been handling the young guys, making them earn their spot. And you know what? I think Frank, the benefit for Frank is I think that he hit rock bottom, and he's like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to ball. Once he got over that.
Hey, this is a family show, Ari. Come on, man. Come on, man. You just ran away like five kids to bed, man. Come on, bro.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I think he really, like, he grew up a lot, and I think that Fizdale deserves a lot of credit for it. You have to remember, Fizdale wasn't brought in for like the X's and O's. He was brought in for player development and free agency. We can't really grade Fizdale until we see what happens this summer. And I think that the way he's handled Trey Burke and Dotson, all of them have came off after being benched and came out and performed better than before.
Yeah.
So I think that goes overlooked, and I think that everyone should just wait on Fizdale until the summer and see if he could attract some free agents.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Well,
so
on that point, I'm
president.
certainly waiting to pass judgment on Fizz. But JB, interestingly enough, you were talking today about that in terms of Fizdale's impact with those benchings and not really, statistically not really making that much of an impact.
Well,
go a little bit into what you were saying earlier today.
Yeah. It's just that I think what happened was, with Dotson, I mean, he had good games. Like, we all watched them before he was benched. And that's why people were upset when he did get benched, is because it wasn't like he was playing bad. And then when he came back, I think what happened was he had some of the long gift games, right? But then I didn't see it as like, he was doing something different. But then Trey Burke, I guess, was maybe the one you were talking about that I was talking about on Twitter, where he was benched and he came back. He had 4 really good games, but then the last 4, right before his injury, he shot something like 19% from the field. And, he was doing Trey Burke stuff where he's not setting up the offense for anyone else. So it's like, I think we all remembered, like, they got benched. They played really well those first couple games, so then we just decided, it worked. But then if you actually watched the next couple games and just kept track of what they were doing, it's like, then he came back to earth of what he was doing. So, like, did the benching work because he played good for 2 games after, or not because over the 5 or 6 games he kind of averaged out, is kind of what I was saying. It's not, I guess there's more to it than just, like, looking at the numbers. Part of it is keeping these guys accountable, and there's there's other aspects to it. But I just didn't see enough when you look at, especially Trey Burke. He played some of his 3 or 4 worst games right before he got injured, and that was after the benching or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, there was different results based on different times. Like, I feel like with the Dotson thing, his defense and the way he played every game has always been the same. I feel like when he got benched is when he started missing his shots. But I feel like, I don't know, I kind of just felt like that would just turn around eventually. It's just some rookie thing because, you know, you're just not used to playing 82 games in the season and being that consistent for the whole year. So I didn't feel like that was warranted, even when his shots did start to go down. It just seemed like I just benching because the shots aren't going in anymore.
Right.
So that kind of bothered me because in the beginning of the season he was preaching the defense. You know, if you're playing defense, I don't care if you're missing shots as long as you're playing defense. And then Dots is missing with shots and still playing defense, and he got put on the bench. I was just like, I don't understand that what's happening there. And then of course the Mario thing.
Right. But I mean, everybody's got to get a look. You know, that's how I see it. Even though I get frustrated with the Mario thing, even though I get frustrated with benching Dodd, benching Frank, you have to realize that the guys that they brought in this year, this isn't like a competitive or contending team that's just adding in fillers at the end of the rotation. They're adding in guys like Vonleh, like even Mario, to see if, or you know, even Moutier last year, to see if potentially they could be plan Bs or Cs or Ds or Fs or whatever it may be come free agency. So everybody's got to get a look, you know, and hopefully the Hazonia experiment is over with. But you know, I understand it. You know, it's me in the chat says I'll believe it when they bench Timmy. Yo, this is like 3 games in a row. These guys are called to bench Timmy. I don't see that happening, man. I don't see it happening either.
It's not happening, dog. It's not happening. Timmy had that crazy stretch where he wasn't hitting the broadside of a barn.
Facts.
It's not happening now.
Yeah,
now that he's like half hitting the barn again.
Hell yeah. All right, Ari, appreciate the call, Ari. Let's go to Brett in NYC. He wants to talk about Knox and Frank. Brett, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
How's it going?
Good. How you doing, man?
Very good. So yeah, my question is, I know it's a small sample size, but do you think if Frank and Knox continue to play well with the addition of Dotson and Trier and Robinson, would that be enough to entice Kevin Durant to come in free agency, or do you think that's not enough and that KP would have to come back for, let's say, 20 games or so?
Who wants to take this first? Jay Ellis? Go ahead, Jay Ellis.
Pick on.
It seemed like KD won his money. Know what I mean? So
yeah.
First and foremost, and shout out to JB. The road to Kevin Durant seems very, very slim. You have pretty much get rid of everybody. So I don't even see.
Yeah, especially with this Lee trade, man. It just does not seem feasible to me. It doesn't seem feasible to me with this Lee trade being a roadblock.
Well, yeah, they can get KD. I think the point was like we were talking on Twitter the other day about getting another guy.
Yeah,
that's where it's like, yeah, you're pretty much got to get rid of everyone. But I just think I was saying this on a podcast last week. It's like I think there's 2 paths here. I think it's they got all these young guys for once. They're finally investing in their picks, but then at the same time, if they're going to get KD next summer, if that actually happened, I don't think they're getting him with the concept of, come here and wait till Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina and whoever we draft develop so you can win with them in 3 years. I think if they get KD, fans should prepare for them moving some of those young guys to get win now guys. I think that's what's going to happen.
And that's when the shit gets scary.
Yeah, and
that's when this shit gets scary.
That's when it gets scary. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think KD wants to come here by himself, right? I think he wants to come with somebody else.
Who knows what his motivation will be, man? Who knows? I'm on the side that feels like if KD,
can I say,
I feel like if KD wants to come here, he's going to come here regardless of the situation. Like LeBron, LeBron went to LA. Not knowing what that team is going to look like. Yeah, they're going to try to build a contender, but he has his chips, and now he wants to, it's about his business, about his family settling down. I think it's more about LA than just going to chase chips. To me, if KD goes and three-peats with Golden State, and he comes here, he's going to come here for – I don't think the roster really matters if he comes here. if in his decision to come here. That's just my opinion.
What were you gonna say, Carl?
Well, I was gonna say, what if the young guys continue to show flashes, and then we still end up getting Zion Williamson or R.J. Barrett?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I'm saying is that I think as fans, we're all excited about the potential. So what we're basically saying, yeah, why wouldn't you come to the Knicks? Because we'd have 3 young guys that offer you a way to be good. But I just think, KD's already, 31 or 32 or something?
Yeah.
I don't think he's leaving the Warriors where he's winning every year. I mean, I know I'm hearing what you're saying, Craig, where it might be independent of the situation, but I just think the Knicks pitch to him is going to be, this is how we win the next, this year and next year. And I don't think they can do that with the age or where those young guys are in development. You're not going to get a rookie. I don't care if Zion is this once in a generation guy. Even LeBron didn't come in the league and win right away. So that's why I think, I think it's 2 timelines. I think they're going to go big after a guy like KD. And if they don't hit on it, then they're going to hold on to their young guys and keep developing them. And it's kind of like doing 2 things at the same time. It's like going for the big guy. Now, remember, it's like, the Celtics, you look at teams that build, it's not same old Knicks if they somehow convinced KD to come here and then they traded some of the young players to get another player with him. Yeah. That's called what every other team in the NBA would do.
Yeah. It's got to be the right move, right? It's got to be the right move, man. I'd be leery of it because I don't know. Boston was able to execute that well. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we don't right. That's the other part.
I don't know, man.
We would do it right.
We got to do it right, man.
Yeah.
We're just in a tough situation because we still have Courtney Lee on the books, and they already said in the beginning of the season we're in the asset collecting portion of this rebuild, and if we have to keep connecting assets to get rid of Courtney Lee and Tim Hardaway Jr., then what are we then? I don't know.
Facts. Yep. So speaking of Tim Hardaway Jr., segue to George from Jersey. He wants to talk about how bad Timmy's been playing. George, enlighten us, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? Yo, Tim has been killing me this game, man.
Yo, he's in a little bit of a funk, He's definitely shattering my all-star prediction.
In a funk.
He's in a little funk, man.
It's not just a funk though. It's bad defense. It's like lazy effort. There was a couple loose balls where he could have got take that last play for example.
Yes,
I think it was Nwaba got a fast break dunk, and it was like, yo, you could have gotten that loose ball, but you didn't, and now you're gonna be upset he dunked it. Like you should have went after the ball.
Yeah,
it's more than a funk.
Got a little chippy out there, but he took a couple charges too. I wouldn't say Timmy was completely useless on the defensive end, but he had some lapses out there.
Not useless, but you gotta expect more from a guy who you're leaving out there. It's like at some point, what is he giving you? Like he played bad this game. He should have been pulled. There's no way he gets over 40+ minutes this game.
I don't know, JV.
I think what he's giving you is not tonight and not these nights where he's not hitting his shot. And although just this morning, I couldn't believe when I saw it 2 days, 3rd in the NBA in pull-up threes. Did you guys see that?
Me neither. You know what it is?
It's hard to believe that. It's hard to believe that. But he's giving them offense where there are nights where if you don't get his offense, you're getting blown out.
Blown out.
You know what it is?
You want young guys to play competitive games, Go
ahead, Jails.
No, you know what I realized with Timmy? Like those shots that I don't want him to take, he hits some of those. And the wide open threes is the one he misses.
Right.
Like the one is all by himself, lined up, squared away. Shoots it, and it's like nothing. And the layups he was hitting last year in traffic, going to the hole, those are going wide right, wide left. Like he's missing all the ones that you think he's supposed to hit, and he's hitting the no shots.
But that's it. That's Tim Hardaway Jr. in essence, isn't it? That's Tim Hardaway Jr. in essence. I mean, he shot the ball terribly all night, but he hit a big three to try to get us back into the game late in the fourth. I mean, you know, to me, I just live with it, man. I just live with it. You know, I just live with it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Tim. I really do love Tim. But this year as the first option, like, he's got to have a tighter leash. Like, he was taking some real bad. Like, he made a couple. He did. He wasn't terrible tonight. But 43 minutes, like, he was gassed. He was letting guys go. Like, Clarkson was up tonight. He couldn't guard anybody.
Yeah.
He got to have a shorter leash. Like, of course I want him out there. He's our best offensive player. But on nights like tonight, where he's just jacking up bad shots, he's taking guys out of rhythm. He can't guard Clarkson. Like Clarkson's a talented guy, but you can't let him go off for 28 easy layups on you. He was just killing me tonight, man. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, appreciate the call, George. I mean, listen, man, that just comes with the territory of being Timmy. You know what I mean? That just comes with the territory of being Timmy. Jails.
I've been pulling my hair up.
Yo, listen, man. I told you guys he was gonna be an all-star in our preseason previews. He was trending that way. He's taking a little slip back, but we'll see. Still early to get Timmy to Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? It's still early to get Timmy to Charlotte. James in Flatbush. We got James in Flatbush, the Nets fan, in here. He said it was the NBA version of the Tank Bowl. Were the Nets playing tonight? Nets must have been off tonight. That's when James pops into the chat. He's a closet Knicks fan that masquerades as a Nets fan. Nah, shout out to James. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Wolf from Long Island, appreciate the call. Jamal Simpson in here. Jamal says Timmy's trash. Come on, man. Ross Tedisco says he can get to the rim. They call me Tack all the way from Hawaii. Says, man, Timmy gonna Timmy. That's just my take, man. Timmy's gonna Timmy. KR says he's an actor. T. Williams says Tim needs to learn to pass the ball.
Yep.
Robert Rodriguez says Timmy's J.R. Smith 2.0. Yeah. Along those lines. What the hell is JR doing? Did JR get a team yet? I don't.
The Rockets are looking at him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
He's waiting for LeBron to call him.
He's gonna be waiting a while.
He's gonna be waiting a while. Yeah, man. JR and Melo is back at Black Ops, just chilling, man. That's how it works. He didn't even want to play for that Cavaliers team, man. Crazy. All right, let's talk about this ISO situation, JB. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to it because it's like he's on this two-way deal, right? So they at least have, I guess, the ball in their court in terms of if they don't come to an agreement with the deal, he just goes back to the G League, right? So it's kind of like on the Knicks' terms. But to me, what is interesting about how this unfolds is how, like, are the Knicks willing to play that type of hardball as they're trying to, like, build this culture around this young team? Because you could argue it's in the Knicks' interest to make sure if they do want to keep him, that they sign him to a 2-year deal. Because you don't want next summer, let's say he continues to play well this year, right? I mean, you're talking about a 22-year-old guy who's proven he can play and score in this league, and now he'd be a restricted free agent this summer, and someone could just throw an offer sheet at him, which if the Knicks are trying to clear space like we've just been talking about.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him.
You don't want to – I mean, I'm not even saying he's going to get some crazy offer sheet, but even if he got – 6 or 7 million, so you sign him for the 2 years, you don't have to worry about that. You can plan for what his cap hit is, but he might say, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I think I can get that offer sheet, so I want to get it. And that's where I think it gets interesting because it's like, all right, well, do you let the negotiations drag on where he's literally now back? Because the Knicks could say, fine, you go to the G League, and then let's see what kind of offer sheet you get after you spend a whole year in the G League. I don't think they would take it that far, but to me, I guess that's in a nutshell, the interesting dynamic to watch out for.
So you're saying that they could put him into the G League this year, and at the end of this season, would they have the ability to match any deal?
Well, they have the ability to match in terms of how much cap space they want to use.
Right.
So they don't have, like, he's only been in the league 1 year, so they don't have, like, bird rights or anything. So meaning they're going to have plenty of cap space when they renounce guys like Cantor, but do they want to spend, let's say an offer sheet comes even at like 2 years, $12 million, like that $6 million could be the difference in what they need for a max spot is, I guess, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So while they could match it, would they want to do that? Or do they rather right now say, we'll sign you to 2 years, $5 million, and we know what the price is, and maybe he's willing to take it because he doesn't have to forfeit this whole season of making any money. That would be, I guess, the leverage that I think the Knicks could come with.
Yeah, you're hoping he just accepts that biannual or whatever, because
you're hoping that you're saying to him, if you don't take the contract now, you're going to make G League money for the rest of the season, and you won't get paid till the summer. Versus we're going to give you like $2.5 million this season, plus 2.5 next year, and therefore maybe he'll take it, even though he might think he can make more as a restricted free agent. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I see. I'm nervous. I know. Maybe I'm paranoid. I know my mindset. My mindset is I'm always going to sacrifice now for later. If I got to wait 3 months to get a bigger paycheck, me personally, I would do that. And me personally, I'm like, well, okay, I can make my little 20,000. That could be a $7 million next season. Yeah, I'll do that. No problem. I don't care. I can wait for 4 months, whatever. That's how I see it. But like, you have to hope that because the Knicks passed on Trier too.
Yeah.
They passed on Trier to get Mitchell Robinson. I talked about this on the show before, and you figure that we hope that he's not really bitter about it. But
I don't think so. I don't know.
You hope he's not bitter about it, and just like, I understand that now we have Mitch and Trier together. But you just hope he's not bitter about it, and he signs with us. We'll see what happens. The timing of the injury is so weird to me.
Yeah.
Like my conspiracy theory brain goes, is this real?
Yeah.
Just like how I wasn't really sure Courtney Lee was real for mad long until I see him have like a little speech talking about how he thought his basketball career might be over, and I actually felt bad.
Yeah, then you're like, oh shit.
So my brain can't help but go, is this real? Is he really injured conveniently around contract negotiation time?
Yeah.
Right.
And then going to conveniently get better right when you can trade somebody around the December 15th deadline? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, yeah, you could argue they may be buying some time. You saw they put ISO Luke in the game, and he was letting it fly. It was almost like an extended tryout for Luke Cornett, man. So I don't know who the odd man out is going to be in the equation, but Luke Cornett was certainly playing like somebody that was on the hot seat. I hope they cut Baker though, man. Even though I like Baker.
Yeah, that's what we don't.
Yeah, we don't need.
I mean, I know there's like, there's thought of he brings value as a guy who's like just energetic even in like practice or something.
Yeah.
Like how these guys don't even like during the season. How often do they even practice?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like Cornette is a big that does things that's useful to you. They don't have a lot of depth at the big position. There's really, without Baker, there's a million other guys that can play.
Facts.
That can do what he does. So it just seems so obvious. Like he should be the guy.
Yeah, I think it definitely should be. Somebody in the chat said, what would the cutoff price be? Well, what's the most they can give him? That biannual was worth how much?
Well, yeah. So the most they could give him this year is around $3.4 million is what it would start at.
$3.4 million. Okay.
And then the most, I guess I should add, the most a team can offer in an offer sheet is whatever the mid-level is next year. So that would be like around $9 million. So he can't get like, and some people would even say, the guy was undrafted. He had a good 15 games. And now you're saying some team's going to offer him like 3 years, 30, like,
no that'd be crazy. Yeah, no, I don't see that.
Right. But just so everyone kind of knows at least the parameters of, the most the team could offer him anyways is around that $9 million. But, I think it's just more about if you're trying to trade Courtney Lee, maybe you do take a player back. You don't trade all of his salary. You just trade most of it. You're able to do things like that if you don't then have this balloon salary for Trier. That's what you got to consider.
Yeah. A lot to think about, man. Well, definitely a lot to think about. What do you guys think in the chat about the whole ISO contract situation? Leave a comment in the chat. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Yeah, man. If you guys have any questions, we're going to get to the fan Q&A and address some of your questions as well. So let us know what you think about the whole ISO contract situation. And who do you think the Knicks should either cut or maybe try to trade to accommodate ISO to the 15-man roster full time? Let's see what people in the chat think about the ISO situation. Shout out everybody in the chat. Smash that thumbs up button for your boys. The best way to support us. And subscribe to the channel. Anybody new in the chat, give us a hashtag new if you're new in the chat, so we can shout you guys out. Seems like there's a couple new people in here, so just give us a hashtag new so we can shout you guys out. Let's see what the people in the chat think about ISO. Robert Rodriguez says Trier can be a Lou Williams with more hops and better defense. That'd be a nice problem to have, man. I always like Lou Williams' game.
Yeah.
Ace Bass says, pay that man. He's young, hard, and pay him.
Sean Jordan says he's with me. He thinks ISO is faking.
Yeah, man. Shout out to ISO. Jorge Rodriguez says, cut Baker. James of Flatbush, the Nets fan, says, what contract is Trier on? Anyway, he's on a two-way contract, James. He's on a two-way contract, meaning he was able to be with the team for 45 days. That 45-day period has expired, and they need to make a move. They need to make a roster move, and they need to sign ISO to a deal if they intend to bring him up permanently on the 15-man roster. Will from LI says, Zoe should get no more than $4 million. Stupid video says, cut Mario.
Too much. Too expensive a cut.
I won't lose 187 cut.
Saying cut Mario.
Yeah, cut his own. Yeah, Keith Sinclair, cut Mario. The Mario.
I think we all agree. Not a lot of Knicks fans are. We all got excited this summer about. Oh, maybe. The thing with me with Mario is I just feel like I don't know. There's just something about him in general that just rubs me the wrong way. Like he just seems like one of those dudes that like. He's very full of himself and like for no real reason.
What was up with the talking in third person the other day, man? What was up with that?
Like that stuff. Like, come on.
What was up with that?
I'm still stuck on the summer when they had the child reporter ask him a question and he replied to the child reporter, "Do you know who I am?" Like, dude,
like Mario, come on, man.
That's a child, Mario.
We need you back down here on this flat Earth that Kyrie that Kyrie is always talking about. You know, Mario's got to come back to life, man. Let's go back to the phones. Q, my man Q jumped in here late. What's going on, Q? You want to talk about KP? How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, feeling good. This was a weird game, man. I just finished watching and I was at practice.
Okay.
Trying to develop a defensive mentality for my players.
Nice.
But you know. Scratch that I want to talk about. I just really thought of something. All the great teams, you know, and Fizz is talking about defense. What do y'all think of in the draft? Because I really don't think we're going to get Zion or Barrett or any of those guys. We got the worst luck in the world. But that Nasir Little kid, you know, he plays defense. He's like a Kawhi Leonard, you know, type player. I think if we focus on getting another guy to play the wing that plays defense, because Tim don't play defense. We're going to have Tim. You know, other guys, Moutier don't play defense. Any of the guys I'm thinking we're going to keep, we can get a better player in the draft that at least play some D. So do you think we should, you know, and that's for all the fellas, do you think we should focus on getting players that's going to fit his scheme and be versatile defenders? Or should we put all our bank in getting KD and all that, which I don't think is going to happen?
JLs, you want to tackle that first?
Man, I'm for, listen, man. I'm for, if we can get KD, then we'll get him. But I feel like if we miss on KD and Kawhi, I'm for keeping everybody here. That's what I think, to be honest with you. But first option, KD, Kawhi, or bust. After that, keep all our guys, develop, and move forward.
Yeah, JB, what's your take on it?
Yeah.
Draft. You want to talk about draft, right, Q? In terms of draft prospect.
Yeah, you know, Nasir Little, he's a defender. He's versatile. He can score a little bit, but he's kind of like that Kawhi Leonard mold type guy. You know, so should we focus on that? Because I'm thinking future, man. After this game, I'm just really, really thinking, man, we got to get into next year, man. Let's trash this season.
Q, you ready to trash the season?
I'm ready,
rebuild's all about, baby.
You know,
come on, man.
Oh, my God. Man, I'm struggling, man. Y'all got to help me out, man.
Tough,
y'all got to give me hope.
It's tough to get through these days, man. But listen, you gotta hope for the best, man. That's all we have, man. NBA, this is a hard league to build a contender, man. You just gotta hope that we're building with the right pieces.
Well, here's my question then for you is, let's say they add, whoever they add in the draft, right? But like we're seeing this year, these guys come up, they're not ready to win. 19 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So like, are we as fans upset if they did sign a free agent? Let's say they can't get KD. Well, why not go draft a player and sign a veteran that at least the team is like, somewhat competitive with all these young guys? Or do you guys think, no, I just want all young guys or superstars or nothing else? Because that's kind of what I feel like I see from people. They're either like sign KD or sign no one. Well, what about just drafting the right guys and just putting in the right veterans that mix with them so they can develop?
I mean, I agree with you. When I say, I guess let me clarify. When I say KD, Kawhi, or bust, I mean, when I say that, I mean don't overspend on
like a max contract. Yeah.
Like if you end up getting like a Rubio or something for like a good deal or something like that, I'm cool with that.
But see, to me, to get these guys from their teams where they can make a boatload of more money, you're always gonna have to overpay, and that's my thing. It's like, yes, I would like to eventually. I don't want to stack the team with just young guys. That's a Phoenix problem that you're seeing right now. That they're never gonna move. They're never gonna inch the needle because they just don't have enough veterans or good veterans to kind of fortify that team. Eventually, you have to get rid of some of those pieces. But at the same time, it's like, our luck would be you put in all this money in a player, and he's just, by year 3, you're like, man, what is this guy doing here? Get him off the team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a gamble, man. It's a tricky thing. Listen, I would still love to see Kemba here. I know I'm in the minority. It's a tricky thing because he's on the wrong. He'll be on the wrong side of 30 by the time you give him that money. But I just feel like Kemba would be that veteran to me. That's like, all right.
Yeah, that would be that. Well, so even if you overpay for Kemba, I guess the point is, let's say his contract is a disaster in year 4 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You're still saying that Knox is what, 23? The draft pick that they have next year is 22. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, the core young guys of the team, they're going to be just entering their prime whatever contract you sign this summer is over with. So it's not like you can almost say this summer can be the guy that bridges you to when you are actually ready to compete.
That's fair. Q, what do you think about that, man? Q's right for that. He's tired of
I really think we should focus on these drafting players, because if you look at Golden State and you look at Toronto, now Toronto went the free agent route and they got Danny Green and Kawhi, and look how great their team is.
They traded.
I never expected Toronto to be this good.
Yeah.
So they did it that way. But Golden State, they built through as far and added a couple veterans here and there. I just think if we get that Nasir Little kid, it can give us a defender on the perimeter. And we are the worst perimeter defending team. The worst. We got Frank. Mm-hmm. We're going to have KP and Robinson in the back end. If we could get some wing players that know how to guard, they could be a legit team with KP coming back. It's just we gotta get some players that could defend.
Yeah.
Badly, man.
Put them on the bench.
You have to have somebody that coaches them. You have to have somebody that plays them too, because right now we have Frank and Dotson are good perimeter players, and we have Moody and Tim Hardaway. So So we can
Yeah, but I don't have no faith in Moutier.
I mean, exactly.
I have no faith in Moutier as a
We're
defender.
saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing as a defender. Yeah, we don't have faith in Moutier as a defender. I mean, I can close my eyes and pray that maybe he develops into something next season. But from what we've seen this season, that's not happening. So even if we draft him, he's still gonna be behind the depth chart if we have Tim Hardaway Jr. here and Moutier.
Yeah. And appreciate the call, Q. We just gotta move to the rest of the call. Appreciate the call, man. Something to think about
fellas.
for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Something to think about, man. You know, something to think about. I didn't really think about, the way JB kind of posed it in terms of getting somebody here to bridge the gap. I just fear that that's somebody that down the road you'll regret the contract. But on the flip side, J. Ellis, if you still have your young core, maybe it's not all that bad. You know what I mean? We regretted the Amari contract. We regretted the Melo contract. Largely, yes, they didn't deliver, but also because we had no foundation underneath that.
Right. That's it. I mean, it's KP too, though. I guess is the question because he is a little bit older than other guys.
Yeah.
So if your worry is, with him, you are ticking into those years a little bit. But yeah, I'm just saying that you look around the league at any team, Golden State, Toronto, like just go on the top teams.
Yeah.
Now look at the age of forget even their best player. Look at the ages of their second, third, and fourth best player. How many of those guys on any of those teams are under the age of 24? Like Boston, if you want to throw Tatum as one of their top guys, like most of those teams that are good, they're not the top teams with a bunch of 21-year-olds. Like it takes time. So that's why I'm just saying that I do think it's different than Amari, where literally back then it was the entire plan was we sign a free agent and then we're good.
Yeah.
This is saying we're just adding a free agent to what is a foundation, like you just said. But I just think people have to realize that foundation is so young. They're not ready to just add KD
and make a run,
become elite team in the East, which is that, they just aren't with their age. I mean, look at Kevin Knox. Like, there's nights, he does nothing out there. Like, he looked great tonight, but he's young. He's going to have up and down nights.
Would you max out Kemba Walker, JB?
I mean, that's a question. Like, I guess I'm trying to talk.
Yo, man, I say no a lot, man, but sometimes I'm just like, damn, Kemba would light up the garden, man, with these kids.
No,
man.
I know.
There'd be some good nights.
I want to just, be not responsible in terms of thinking of the cap and say yes, because I just want to see it. And I'm trying to talk myself into it by saying the team's not ready to compete anyways. But I'm just still a little worried with KP that I wouldn't want to necessarily have that year 3 or 4 in a contract be really bad. And we have KP that's stuck where we can't add help for him because of that contract. That's the part that's still
right. Right. It's a lot of ways to look at it, man. It's a lot of ways to look at it. Interesting thoughts, though. CH in the chat says it's always built through the draft. I think it's partially true, but like I said, you look at a team like Phoenix. I mean, they're going nowhere fast. Listen, we'll see. All right, let's go back to the phones. Zay from Maryland wants to talk about the game, and Timmy. We got Zay, then we got Omar, and we got Will. All right, Zay, go ahead.
What's going on, guys?
How you feeling, bro?
I've been doing all right. I've been catching y'all on the replays. I've been having
Appreciate
been able to catch you on the live. So
appreciate it. And I'm sorry to cut you, Zay, but for those of you watching, if you came on late and you missed it and you haven't caught the replays, I run a replay of the live stream around the clock, starting about 1 a.m. Eastern time, 6 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So for those of you, it enables you to chat live with other people watching from wherever they're watching from. We get people from all around the world that's checking in, when it's more suitable for their time zone. So it's a good perk for the subscribers. But go ahead, Zay.
2 things before I get on the Timmy part. I kind of want to get back on your topic in regards to Kemba.
Mm-hmm.
I know it came up a few times. People say they don't want Kemba because they don't feel like he'll push the needle. But, people looking at Kemba in Charlotte and thinking, oh, he's not going to push the needle.
you know, Kemba, solid Kemba with Porzingis, and a lot of the other solid pieces that we have. I mean, I think it's a lot better than what he has over in Charlotte. So it's not necessarily what Kemba is doing now. We got to stop looking at what people are doing now, and we're overpaying people because, we think they're going to do the same thing. We thought Melo was going to do the same thing he was doing in Denver once he got here. So we gave up everything, from underneath Melo, and then you see how that went. So, I mean, I think Kemba, Porzingis, keeping the pieces together, because our issue has been we've been a temp agency for forever.
Yeah.
Where we got these guys come in, and as soon as if we don't like them, we try to get rid of them, or we got a bunch of G League players on the bench and stuff like that, and it's just never no consistency. I think we need to stay as consistent as possible and just add a piece in the off season. Get rid of Lee though. Courtney Lee could go because we got so many versions of Courtney Lee. That's my opinion on that.
Okay. Real quick on the Timmy point.
The only other thing I want, and then the Timmy point, I just want to say that, the Timmy point is more of, I feel like he's supposed to be a leader. Like, at this point now, at first I was like, at the beginning of the season, I was pro Timmy. I'm like, he going to earn the $17 million. But now it's like, all right, you got all this time, but you're not doing it. There's no way you're the leader if we're having close games with Cleveland or whatever like that, So it's like there's no hunger, there's no aggression. It's just like, I mean, that's just kind of crazy to me. I don't know what's going on with that. And everybody's in double figures this game, but we still lost by how many points? The defense just is horrible.
Yeah, the defense just wasn't there.
We had 5 people in double fingers.
Yeah, the defense just wasn't there tonight. And appreciate the calls, eh? It just wasn't there. I would like for them to step it up a bit, especially on the defensive end. It was Matador decentral out there. They were like I said, we gave Clarkson 28 points. I mean, when was the last time he did that with the Lakers? Yeah. All right, let's see who else we got. Omar from Manhattan wants to talk about direction of the team and free agency. Omar, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How you feeling, bro?
Good. Welcome to the show, JB. Actually, I wanted to ask this primarily because I know JB does a lot of breakdowns with the cap and free agency moving forward and the direction of the team. Mm-hmm. First off, I thought this was actually Knox's best two-way game that I've seen him play all year. Yeah. It just seems like he's just reading the floor better. His defense is, better, on the ball, off the ball. He's getting easy baskets now. He just looks way more confident and more sure of himself out there. But with the team moving forward, I know you guys have discussed Kemba quite a bit. Now, JB, I know you're saying you don't want to use cap dollars up, but you have to look at it as an opportunity cost situation because, all right, so first off, the draft happens before free agency. What if we're lucky enough to draft Zion? All right? We draft Zion, and the only guy that's willing to take our dollars is Kemba, okay? So you give him that max slot, $30 million per, $31 million per, whatever it is. 2020, there's only one guy that's going to be worth it in free agency that you would throw those dollars above Kemba. It's Anthony Davis, and he's probably going to figure out where he's going to be before then. Probably get traded to the Lakers.
I think he goes to Boston.
By then, and then he'll sign his extension. He's going to do his pre-agency thing like that Bill Simmons does. So really, the next wave of free agents is in 2021. So if you sign Kemba, like I said, hypothetically, we get lucky enough to draft Zion, get Kemba, which, Kemba, KP, Zion, Knox, that's at least a second-round team. And if KP and Knox and Zion develop as guys, that could go further. That's where the potential is. But by 2021, when the next chance you'd have big free agency, Hardaway's going to be off the books, Lee is going to be off the books, and you may have a decision to make with Ntilikina and also Mitchell Robinson. So there's a scenario that I just painted out now where you could clear close to another cap space, another max space in 2021 while having signed Kemba in 2019. What do you guys think? Because I think then that would actually be worth it. Even if they don't develop into a finals team, you know what? Get Kemba, get Zion and KP and Knox at point guard. and see where you go from there. I don't see what the downside is in paying Kemba because there's nobody in 2020 that's really worth it.
Fair points.
Yeah, no,
JB, what do you think?
I think those are definitely fair points. And I think the other thing that we've all seen is that when these star players want to go somewhere, the team figures out how to make it work. And a lot of times it's about, is your team competitive, and do you have extra assets to make a move to get them? So meaning, I don't think it's just saying, oh, who's the free agent in 2020? I think it's who's the star, because it happens every freaking year with more than one guy. Who's the star that's going to get upset next year and is going to want to go somewhere? And he might look at the Knicks, and if they're better than, like you said, they could maybe be a second-round playoff team with the right roster. Like, I guess I'm just saying that I think the other opportunity cost people need to realize is if the Knicks are just winning 20 games a year, I don't think any star is going to be like, I need to force my way there.
Yeah.
I think if you are with
I
guys
agree.
like KP or Zion, and then you say, just like the Sixers, right? Like that's what basically the Sixers did with now Jimmy Butler. Covington is basically their Frank, right? Like that would be like the Knicks trading Frank. Like
I hear
so to me, that's what it comes down to. You develop those type of guys so that then you make the big move when the timing is right. So yeah, I think what you're saying, makes sense.
Yeah, and I look at it as that I don't really see a downside now if they sign a Kemba. He'll be 29 next year, and I think he's a young 29. He hasn't had a lot of miles on his legs. He played 3 years at college. I think he entered the league at 21, 22. And his game's going to age well. I know he's little, but like look at Redick. He's 34, and he's coming off screens having a career year. And I just think that, since there's no real free agent in 2020, I know you painted the scenario, well, what if there's another star that might want to trade his way? Well, guess what? If that's the case that summer or after or going into the 2020 season, well, you have Tim Hardaway's expiring deal as a chip to make a trade so you can match dollars for guys like that. Then you could go package, Tim, Frank, a first, and then you're adding a guy next to KP, Kemba, Zion, or whatever, Barrett and Knox. And that's how you would get that additional star. I just don't think this actually, you got to look at it as so black and white, where it's like, no, Kemba's not worth it. You got to save it for, someone who's worth it, like AD, Kawhi, or, well, you know what? If those guys are already signed up and they're not going to be available, you got to see what's out there. I've also considered Terry Rozier. I know people don't love him, but the fact of the matter is he was one game away. You don't want him, but he's the starting point guard of a team that was one game away from the finals.
I understand that.
And he's 24 years old.
I feel like
he's going to be cheaper. He's not going to be a max guy.
Yeah, but you're still going to have to pay him a boatload, though.
He wants 15 million.
How much you think he'd go?
If he wants 15, I
you
heard.
Take him.
15?
I heard.
If that's what he wants, I would actually give him it.
No, man. I don't want him, man.
The cap's going up, by the way. So $15 million is almost like $10 million from a couple of years ago.
It is.
And if he's making less than Tim, he's a young player that's ascending. He was the starting point guard on a team that was Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, making big plays. I think there's actually something there with him. But again, whether if it's him or Kemba, I think that there's not really like an opportunity cost giving up if you throw dollars at them, especially if you hit big with this draft.
Okay.
That it might actually be worth it to put a guy there. You'll be a little closer than you think to really contending. And, the options moving forward after that won't be abundant. It's not going to be like the mistake that I think we did with Tyson Chandler, and everyone realizes it now, is that with Anderson Billups instead of Amari, we missed out on possibly getting Chris Paul the next year. That was an actual viable scenario. That was the opportunity cost given up to sign Tyson Chandler. I don't see that now after this upcoming offseason, where if we sign a guy like Kemba, are we, giving up a chance at Giannis? Are we giving up a chance at KD? Well, if KD's going to be signed, or we're giving up a chance at LeBron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same type of situation.
All right. Omar, appreciate the call, man. I just gotta get to the last call so we can wrap up. Appreciate the call, man. Make sure you.
Go ahead. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. I don't trust Terry Rozier, man. I like him. He's a nice player for Boston. I don't know. He's
that's the guy. Yeah, he's tough to overpay for.
I don't know. Like I kind of feel like it's a Tim Hardaway Jr. situation.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
It's a gamble if you're gonna give him that much money.
Yeah,
because of what he did last season, he hasn't shown it this season. I mean, granted, it's because they have more guards there,
Facts.
So it could be he's the ball in his hands.
Facts. All right, well, last call of the night. Will wants to talk about Knox and the picks. What's going on, Will?
Oh, what's going on, CP, JL, it's Jeff. How you doing?
How you doing, bro?
How's it going?
Just chilling. I wanted to first talk about Knox. He had a great game. I always said that, Knox shooting form, from the jump looked really good. And he played a lot of defense today. He did slip up on some plays, but overall I'm very happy with Knox, and I'm happy how he bounced back from the media and everything like that. But I wanted to talk about draft picks, because looking at Colin Sexton, if he was still on the table, I think the Knicks were pretty, dead set on getting Knox. But I think it's about getting the best player available. For me, I don't know. Right now, I heard that. Yeah, because I look at the Suns and I think that they move DeAndre Ayton to the bench or whatever. And I think they kind of hurting thinking that they should have probably taken Luka, And it's I just hope that no matter what happens come this draft pick, that the Knicks really think about, who's the best player available. I think it would be great to have a wing, but if Zion's available, you get Zion. If, Cam Reddish is available, you take him. You got to take the best player available. And then we still got to remember that, going back what happened a couple of days ago with the whole Dwayne Wade and LeBron thing, LeBron, he said the Garden, and there's only three, right? There's either the Boston Garden, and we know he ain't going there.
Jay Ellis is bewildered. Jay Ellis is bewildered. He didn't mean anything by it, man. He didn't mean anything by it. Well,
I don't know. I don't care about LeBron.
I know it was. Yeah, I don't care about LeBron either, but it's just to say, we still got to remember that, if it's LA and New York, these are the biggest markets in the NBA, and we got to remember that we are in a big market. We're proud Knicks fans. We come to the games, and eventually, players love playing here, and it's all about getting the good draft picks.
Yeah.
Getting. We gotta set ourselves up. You get the good draft picks, you get the players. Kemba, I personally wouldn't take him just because I just feel like he's like a beat down, Mercedes, a lot of miles on. He's car salesman tries to sell you. He was great. He was great. 3-4 years ago, I would have jumped at the opportunity, but now he got a lot of mileage on him.
Yeah.
I think he got 2 more good seasons. But either way, I respect us going for big guys like that. But either way, it's all about getting good draft picks. Good on Kevin Knox, and then we'll be all right overall. But either way, love the show. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Always appreciate the support. We'll always appreciate it, man. All right, Dave, that's it for the calls tonight. We'll jump into the rapid-fire questions and then wrap up. JLs, we got 2 big Shaqs in the chat tonight. We got Julian and another big Shaq, man.
Whoa, it's like Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Well, I think they're going at it in the chat right now, man, for supremacy, man. Big Shaq supremacy going on in the chat right now.
Do it for your name.
Oh, my God. But yeah, man, definitely good show. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Smash that thumbs up button for your boys once again.
Please.
Yeah, man, it's been a good talk. All right, let's run through these rapid fire questions real quick. Ace Bez says, "How the hell did Fizz not draw up a play for Knox after he caught the dunk? Feel like a tank move. What do you think?" Yeah. I mean, listen. Like I said, we touched on it earlier. I thought they should have ran a play for him, but they shouldn't have been in that position, man. They shouldn't have been in that position.
Fizz trusts Moutier.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true.
In a nutshell, Fizz trusts Moutier. Because Moutier came through a few games, so Fizz trusts Moutier.
Yeah. And Moutier is going to do Moutier anyway. Let's be honest. He's going to take the shot. All right. Reaper Bad says, is Tim comparable to J.R. Smith or no contest? Also, how can we get rid of him? Yeah, I guess you could compare him to JR a little bit here and there.
J.R. Smith shot better from 3.
Interesting. How we get rid of him? You stuck with him. I don't think no team is going to take. He's stuck with him, man. You know, you just hope. I think the hope with Timmy is that as his team improves, he becomes a lower priority in terms of the option. Yeah, if he becomes the fourth or fourth best option, I think you take that. I think it means you're an improving team. LPDO24 says, what happens to Frank's minutes and aggression once Zoe and Burt comes back? I believe Frank should be our point guard off the bench consistently until the trade deadline. Then we should be starting him with Knox. JB, what do you think on that one? I think we had touched on that.
I agree, but I think that is the question. Is it's like, oh, good to say now. Oh, Fizz has kind of seen the light in terms of playing him, but let's see when he has other options.
Facts. Jay Ellis, same?
Yep, same.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. We'll see what happens. It's a logjam, you know, guys. It's a lot of guys that you could say could vouch for those minutes, you know, and it all depends on how guys are playing. It's very inconsistent. It's a young team. You know, guys play up and down. Ace Bears, when's the final day for ISO contract? It's basically extended because of the injury. So, I mean, we're basically at the 0 hour right now. So we got to make a move. Big Shaq, Julian in parentheses. So he's acquiesced to the other Big Shaq in the chat. He says, when will we realize Kemba is not the guy we pick up this summer? All about contention for titles, not annual second round exits. Well, I mean, you can't guarantee who you're gonna get, right? So I think to JB's point, I mean, if it's a guy that can help get you there, maybe in 2020, 2021, you get an AD or a Greek freak, and maybe off you go, depending on what happens. Yeah. There's a lot of scenarios that can have to play out, man. You never know.
You never know, man. You keep losing, you keep collecting first-round picks, and then you trade a couple for a star, and you can go that route, too.
Factuals, man. All right, I think we've come to the conclusion of the show. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again, wherever you guys are watching from. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, Knicks Film School, Posting and Toasting, wherever you guys are watching from, man. I always appreciate the support. JB, as is the custom here, I'll throw it over to you, and you can promote the site, whatever you want to promote, man. Your
show. Yeah, no. That's KnicksFilmSchool.com. You guys just check it out, and otherwise, keep coming in the chat here, and I love the show just watching it, so it's fun to be on it.
Yeah, man. Jay Ellis.
Here. Check out the podcast. Podcast just dropped Tuesday. So check that out on SoundCloud.com/SneakerTimeShow, YouTube.com/SneakerTimeShow, iTunes as well. Links are all in the description below there. Also, it's Christmas time. You want to put a Zinga hat, cop that. Make sure you get that now. Give yourself some time, get that delivery in.
Give Santa some time to get it down the chimney and shit, you know?
Yeah, got the hats, got the hoodies, got all that. And also, stay tuned. Big guests coming for our next podcast. For those of you who watch the podcast, big guests coming. Stay tuned for that. Drop next.
Okay. Appreciate you, Jay Ellis. And man, shout out to everybody once again for watching and supporting. Listen, Knicks were down early. We came back, late charge. We saw some good things from Knox, some good things from Frank, but wasn't to be tonight. Knicks go down 113 and 106 to the Cavs tank. We'll be back on Friday. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Friday night post game, Knicks versus the Hornets. Revenge game in Charlotte. We got to get revenge. Those guys came in and beat us up pretty good on Sunday. So let's get a bounce back W, man. So once again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Shout out to everybody in the chat once again, and we'll see you guys on Friday night, man. Peace.